Raymond. I hope this is named properly. Nope. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. That's not. We're gonna just do away with that and know that my jam is live because that's green going on there. What's up, Jon Strum? Good afternoon to you, sir.
And to you.
And to you.
Look, I gotta do a quick update on the folks who watch the vlog. Like, hey y'all, I missed a couple of weeks of videos. Like, I never really missed more than 1 week, and so I let that 1 week go, and I was gonna do it for the next week, and then I did a podcast with Kevin Bacon and Emily Deschanel, and work came in. So excuse me, I had to go do that, and now I'm here with my illustrious guest, Mr. Jon Strum of the fabulous Real Talk MS podcast. It's like having 2020 for MS. Like, Jon's always going across the globe, getting the latest and greatest in MS news and the interviews with the doctors, the scientists, the researchers, the people like me, the guy who runs the barbecue fundraiser for MS. Like, all things on the pulse of MS. This guy's got covered. So I am ridiculously elated to have him here to talk to me. And say what's up, Jon Strum.
Hey, I'm happy to
be with you, Damien.
Yeah. So talk to me. How did the Real Talk MS podcast get started?
So here's what happened. About 3.5 years ago, I was selected to be one of the three lay members of the scientific steering committee of the International Progressive MS Alliance.
Whoa.
So the International Progressive MS Alliance is basically a global research co-op that was started by a whole bunch of MS societies around the world who decided to kind of focus the attention on progressive MS research.
Okay.
While people with relapsing remitting MS saw one drug after another come out, so we got more than a dozen today. People with progressive MS weren't getting that same kind of news. So they decided, you know what? Let's kind of coordinate our efforts, bring in the best and brightest research minds in the world to work on this, and let's have people who are affected by MS be a part of it from the beginning. So they went through a process where they had about 300 people applying for one of those lay member seats, and somehow I got picked. So as I was sitting in those meetings,
John. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it again because that stream was private. That was not even a public stream. So I told you, YouTube moved around a lot of their functions. Yeah, that was an important function that was quite moved around. So say that, boom. Now we're live on this thing. Fabulous. Live now, like the way it's supposed to be. So I'm going to do that intro again. First, I got to get my camera, make sure. There we go. Boom. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Look, I'm back here. I took a couple weeks off. I didn't really take a couple weeks off. I just, every now and then, I'll let a vlog go by on the week just because life. And as I was making sure the next week I was here with a vlog, I booked a job. I had to do a podcast, and there was celebrities on this podcast, and Emily Deschanel was right there, and George Basil's right there, and Kevin Bacon is right there as we're making things happen. So I had to go work with Kevin Bacon, y'all. So excuse my not posting. However, in light of that, to counter that, I have an illustrious guest here for you. My man Jon Strum of the Real Talk MS podcast, a fabulous podcast that brings you the latest and greatest in MS news from all around the world. Like, if there's conferences going on, Jon's there. Jon's talking to the scientists at the conferences. Jon is talking to the doctors, and he's talking to people like me, and he's talking to everybody who is touched with MS, because he's touched with MS, and it's part of his life, and he's using this forum or platform, I don't know what it is, to connect folks and to share the news that he knows. And he knows a lot, y'all. Like, for real, for real. So, I said a whole bunch of things just to be like, hello, Jon Strum. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, Damien, I'm glad to be with you.
Great to have you here, man. So I'm not sure how many folk out who watch this channel also listen to Real Talk MS. Please talk to us about what is and how did it get started and all that stuff.
Well, sure. I'll tell you how it got started. About 3.5 years ago, I was one of 3 people selected to be a lay member on the Scientific Steering Committee of the International Progressive MS Alliance. The International Progressive MS Alliance was started by several MS societies around the world who wanted to focus research on progressive MS because while it seemed that one drug after another was being made available to people with relapsing remitting MS, there wasn't the same research focus, there weren't the same outcomes on the progressive MS side. It's a little trickier to figure out. So they decided perhaps a coordinated global effort might move the ball down the field. They got started. They wanted people affected by MS to be a part of the scientific steering committee from the beginning. 3 of us were selected. And as I was sitting in some of those meetings, and the committee is made up of truly the best and brightest minds in MS research in the world. And I'm sitting at the table listening to the work that's going on, and I'm feeling really encouraged, really hopeful. And I hadn't necessarily felt that level of hope in a really long time. And I thought, this is nice for me, but what about all the people who aren't in the room?
Yeah.
How do we get to connect them to some of this really remarkable information that I'm picking up?
Okay.
So I thought about maybe doing a blog. And I backed off of that because there's a lot of folks who are living with MS who sometimes face challenges either navigating through a monitor or even using a mouse. It can be tricky. So I thought, well, what else could I do? I listened to a few podcasts at that point, but just as a listener, but I thought, that could be really, really good. They're easy to access. And so I gave myself about 3 months to learn the technical side of how to do a podcast. And then the end of September 2017, I launched Real Talk MS. So over 100 episodes ago, comes out every week, and it's been a phenomenal experience for me, and it seems to be connecting with a lot of folks around the world.
Absolutely. Like, it's one of these things that helped me because a lot of the scientific gobbledygook, so to speak, gets boiled down to, I don't know, real talk.
Right.
You're very, very good at that, and that's beautiful. So that's what's drawn me to the show, and I've listened to it with headphones on as I'm doing things around the house. Like, I'm washing the dishes, I'm cleaning the tub, I'm walking my dog. Like, it's one of these ways to be like, oh, wait, there's a couple of hundred of these? This is what I do in my free time now when I'm doing other things that I'm not particularly focused. I need my focus on, So
I get emails from people who say, I have lunch with you once a week. I work out with you in the gym once a week. I commute to work with you, and that's cool to hear. And that's what I love about the podcast format is that it's so portable.
Yeah, no, it's that's another kind of cool thing too, because through the podcast you make yourself accessible. Like, I mean, you're talking to me right now. Like, if you're going to be in Washington, D.C. at this particular conference from September 7th to September 15th, you invite your listeners to write you an email. You invite your listeners to give you a call on the hotline. Jon Strum, you got a hotline, man. I don't got no hotline.
I do. Because it is all about access. I really see my podcast as a two-way communication. It's not just me putting it out there, but I want people to connect back. I want them to send me their emails. And then I thought, why not set up a phone line just to make it easy for people who don't want to send an email. They don't want to send a DM on social media. Maybe they'll go ahead and pick up the phone. So I try to make it as easy as I can for people to connect. And it's great because when I'm at that conference, say in Washington, D.C., I end up meeting listeners. We'll grab coffee, maybe a cocktail, depending on the time of day, and it becomes just a really terrific experience for me.
Yeah, man. Like you say, it is a two-way street, and it's one thing to create, but it's another thing to create and avoid. And you sort of have to figure out, for me, at least personally, I was just creating and avoid until I sort of found this. And now it's like, all right, this is what I do. This is what lights me up. And I can't do this. I don't want to just keep doing this. I need to hear back from the audience. This isn't theater. Like,
right.
I need to hear what's going on with people. I need to know what people want me to talk about. So yeah, that's awesome. Like you've got a whole. This is an Internet of Things, Jon Strum, and you have really, really been a part of making sure that multiple sclerosis is one of those diseases that people continue to talk about and continue to know about, so that it's on people's tongue and we can evolve life with it. Like, if that's a bit too grandiose to think, but like, no, that's really what it is. Like, I don't want to make it like the flu, but if we're talking about the flu, let's talk about the flu. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You were just at a conference, the ECTRIMS conference. Like, what is that? Talk about that. It's important to me, so I know it's going to be important to the audience. So please talk to me more about the ECTRIMS conference, sir.
So the ECTRIMS conference takes place every year. It's the European Committee for Treatment and Research in MS. ECTRIMS is there.
Check you out, Jon Strum.
And it is the largest MS research conference in the world. You've got like 10,000 MS specialists from all over the world in one place. So it's big, a lot of people. There are multiple presentations going on all day during the conference. So you kind of have to pick and choose which ones you're going to drop into and which ones you'll try to catch later through video or something. But it's just a tremendous amount of information. And if you want to connect with the people who are doing the difference-making research when it comes, excuse me.
Hey, yo, I am now, you and I have another bond, Jon Strum. That's all I'm trying to say. Please continue your story, sir.
Well, so if you want to connect with the difference makers in MS research, they're all at ECTRIMS from all over the world.
Yeah, and this time it was in Sweden? Right?
It was in Stockholm, Sweden this year.
And you, as I was hearing in your podcast, over 3 days, Jon made content out of his experiences at the conference, which is great because if you didn't get to go, you have a very fabulous representative there on your behalf in Jon Strum. And there's something that one of your guests said that I really didn't think of, because we're here in America and you can go to the doctor and make the copay, or it's too expensive and now you just want the drug. But one of your guests said, like, yeah, some countries don't even have DMTs. Some countries, there's pretty much, they give you a cane and you say good luck to you when you have MS. So like, that was just an interesting thing for me to understand and to comprehend. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Do you remember that guest?
I'll be happy to. And actually, I'll tell you about a much more recent guest who shared, to me, even a more compelling story. This last week, I was in Athens, Greece, attending an MS International Federation People with MS Forum. And I was presenting some information there, but they had people who are living with MS from 35 countries around the world at this event. And I got to meet several of them. And a couple of them are guests on this week's podcast. One of them is Dr. Laura Musambaye, who actually founded the MS Association of Kenya. Now, imagine if you are someone living in Kenya, a country of 50 million people. They have a total of 20 neurologists, not MS specialists, 20 neurologists in the entire country. And just a couple of MRI machines in the country. So they used to say that there isn't any MS in Kenya because no one could actually get to an MRI machine to get a diagnosis. So it seemed like there was none, but it turns out there is. And excuse me. Allergy season.
Oh, yeah, come on. So, I'm mad at you on camera. Like, if you was at the podcast, nobody would see nothing.
Right. That's true. So and then if you are one of the lucky few, maybe not so lucky, if you're one of the few people who actually gets an MS diagnosis in Kenya, you can't get disease-modifying therapy. So now you know what's wrong. You know there is something that will delay progression, and you can't have it. So the challenges what this conference really brought home to me was that the challenges of living with MS are considerably different depending on where you are.
Yeah. Wow. No, it's, again, this thing stinks. I know it stinks, and you know it stinks. So even the stuff that they give you to make it stink less, it still stinks. So to imagine just being somewhere where it's like, no, you're not going to have anything. It's going to stink at its maximum. Instead of the rest of the people in the world, it stinks at 77%, you know? It's just nuts to me how not only that stuff is going on, how your podcast helps everyone else who listens to it think about that, and it's inspiring. Like a lot of my content these days, as I hear something and I'm like, Jon Strum just said this thing. I'm going to talk about this because this is real, man, and this is something that he talked about last week. So I know it's on at least one person's mind, and I'm going to make something out of this. So wait, so how does Do you have MS, or how did you even get this thing going?
My wife has a very advanced case of progressive MS. I actually stopped working for about slightly more than a decade to serve as her primary caregiver. Toward the end of that period, it was me. It was a live-in nurse. Our home looked much more like a clinic than a house. And with all that, she reached a point where she could not be cared for adequately at home. So right now, while we're talking, she's at a long-term acute care hospital.
Oh, wow.
And I visit her every day. So my role has transitioned slightly from caregiver to advocate. Make sure she gets the care she needs. Make sure she's comfortable. All those kind of things that you want to do for someone.
Wow. Okay. And so you've got that going on. You've got this going on. So you've really taken what's been in front of you that's not that great, and you've turned it into something that for other people who are in the same position of it's not so great, that they can find something great in it. And that's really why I wanted to talk to you today, man. I wanted to, even when I'm sure there's technical difficulties, was one of my friends on the channel is texting me right now Yeah, it's going live. Yeah, it's not going live. Yeah, you have it echo. Yeah, like, so there's probably audio issues on this thing that I'm, not happy about. But c'est la vie, and I'll work it out for the next time. My original point was folks affected with this disease. There's a couple of things you can do. You can just kind of let the disease carry you and let it run its course. Another thing you can do is let the disease run its course, but find your own way to contribute to the community, the people, the doctors, the researchers, like all of that stuff, to, if not bring people together, make a sense of community, like we're not all in this alone.
Right.
It's just important work. It's special, and like the dedication that it takes to make. How many episodes you have, John?
So this week released episode 112.
John, you've done 112 episodes of this thing, and all of them are fantastic, and that's well over a year. That's like, you do it every week, so
2 years.
Okay, so people showing up to make this happen, and like this doesn't happen in any other forum. Like, there's no gardeners doing live stream about like how to keep the boll weevil out of their crop, So what folks like yourself, folks like me, folks like there's so many people in the comments below that want to start their own channel. Or just anything like that. We just continue to, this MS thing is pushing us right along, and we're like, all right, fine, I'm going to do my best to slow it down, or maybe to stop it, but I am on this ride. But as long as I am on this ride, I am going to contribute to this community. I'm going to make sure that other people around me are not in the same position I was when I first got on this boat.
I totally get that.
Believe me.
If I was to compare
how MS has impacted me, my family, to a heavyweight fight, I would be the first to admit that MS took the first several rounds.
Absolutely.
It took everything from us.
It truly did.
And it got to a point where I realized that at the end of the day, I needed to find some upside. There had to be some positive outcome for me. And the last couple of years have been different. I'm not so sure MS has taken those rounds quite so easily. And at the end of it, at least, I'll feel like, as you just said, I made a contribution. People tell me that it's helped them, and there's a positive outcome to what otherwise would have been just another sad story, and I can't have that. That's not my legacy.
Nah, you're not built. You're too cool for that, man. Anybody's too cool for that. I'm too cool for that, man. Nah, I ain't going out like that, son. No, this is not my story. This is not how my story ends. Look, man, you're just great. Thank you for contributing. Thank you for having your perspective and your dedication, because again, like, I missed 2 videos. Like how many times have you missed a podcast, John?
Haven't missed
one yet.
That's what I'm saying. So like that deserves an award within itself. So again, I'm gonna wrap this up just because I don't know if audio issues are present, because I can't tell. So I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out in post. And if there are issues, perhaps we can have you on again and talk about this or talk about something else, or I don't know.
Always something
to talk about.
Right? Real talk. So wait a second. Even before I do that, how did you even come up with Real Talk MS? Real Talk.
When I
decided what I wanted the podcast to be, seriously, the name came to me in like 2 seconds.
It's going to be
Real Talk about MS.
Wow. Yeah, no, there's a Notorious B.I.G. line that reminds me of. He goes, it came to me like a song I wrote. So it came to you like a song you wrote. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Look, you're just the man. Thank you for showing up here. Even though there might be technical difficulties, thank you for showing up every week for years on the podcasts, because people around the world touched by this disease, affected by it, need another voice outside of them to not only say, yes, you can, keep going. Also say, hey, I'm hanging out with all of the people that know about the thing that's keeping you down. And here's what they say. So it's such a positive, wonderful, special thing that you do, and that I appreciate. I know a lot of other people appreciate. And at this moment, all I can be like is thank you. And thank you for coming on this show today.
Well, this is my pleasure.
And thank you for all those kind words. And thank you for doing what you're doing, Damien. Because everything you just said, it comes right back to you. So I appreciate everything you do.
Oh, well then, thank you, sir.
You bet.
Look, man, you're the man, Jon Strum. I appreciate you, and thank you for giving me some time today. Y'all, I'm going to try to keep making my videos back on schedule again. I'm sure there's echoes in this stream. I'll fix that out. I'll figure that out. Maybe John will be back too. Please, hopefully you'll be back once I fix this out.
Anytime.
And that's pretty much it. I'm going to go. John's going to go. And we going to see y'all some other time. Okay, bye. You say bye now, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, bye.